Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Todd and this is Sweet Tea Guitars. Alright you guys, when we left off the other night, I had told you all about my plans for the ultimate Telecaster build. We're going to jump straight into this, get some wood prepped, get some blanks glued up, and get this thing ready to get started on. Before we get into that, however, I want to show you guys some new tools I got over Christmas. This is a new Stanley Bailey number 7 hand plane. It took me a year and a half to find one that I felt like spending the money that these things cost. A number 7's plenty long enough to joint basically anything that you'll ever need for guitar building. So I'm really happy to have that. So thanks to my wife for getting me that number 7 for Christmas. The next little tool she bought me, and you guys see me use this little mallet all the time here on the channel. This is a Halder, made in Germany. Killer little fretting hammer. Knowing that I use that thing all the time for other things besides frets, I wanted a dead blow for fretting. And my wife bought me this little Halder Supercraft. This is a 12-ounce dead blow hammer. These things are about 30 bucks on Amazon, but Halder makes the best mallets in the world, in my opinion. This is killer. I love it. Next up, again, my beautiful wife bought me this. She got me this Music Nomad 24-inch leveling beam right here. I've got a 16-inch crimson leveling beam up there, and I love that thing. I use it all the time, but I wanted a 24-inch one so I can actually span the entire length of a fretboard. Great accurate tool. Everything I've gotten from Music Nomad has been really, really great quality. This right here is the thing that I'm really most stoked about other than the number 7. I've been in debate with myself over whether or not to build a neck carving jig, like a thin, tall panel. Big Unit sent me some plans on that and how he would build it, and he's got one of those. But I've gotten so used to carving a neck in a vise, I ordered myself a pattern maker's vise. So let's check this thing out, you guys. There she blows right there. This thing's got wooden jaws. It's got like polyurethane mat glued to the jaws right here so it won't mark. These move in and out, so it'll pretty much clamp any shape. This thing right here will absolutely hold that neck securely, and I don't have to be worried about anything. It's got a super long bench screw on it that will pretty much make it through just about any surface. Anyway, I am stoked to have all that stuff, you guys. I really am. I think it's going to improve the quality here in the shop. I know it's going to improve my efficiency. Every one of you guys who has been subscribed to the channel for a while knows that I absolutely live for guitar building. I love doing this, you guys. So, knowing that, let's jump into this build real quick. I am so excited to get started on this Tele. Let's mark out a center line. We'll take it over to the bandsaw, slice this board in half, then we'll get this maple strip cut down, 15 millimeters on our heel end, 9 millimeters on our headstock end. So we're going to go straight to the center line with this thing, or straight to the center of this board. Let's take our protractor. We'll make ourselves a line there. All right, so we got a nice discernible line run down there, and I've already got this marked out. We'll cut it off at this line. We'll cut it off at this line. That's going to give me plenty of room to make a few little changes to my headstock shape, which is this ultimately. But you can see how close that last tuner is to the end here. I want to extend this whole end out about 10 millimeters or so. Before we cut that, let's go ahead and mark out these two maple pieces, because I've thought about this, and I think one center strip of maple, that's not enough, you guys. You know, I'm calling this the ultimate Tele. All right, so we want this end of the heel at 15 millimeters wide. Up here on this line, we're going to call it 9, but I'm going to go to 10 millimeters. That way, I've got just a little slop We'll check this taper once we get this line drawn on here, but I think this is going to be fine. I want it subtle. This is hard maple. This is going to be killer for that center strip. I really like using a hard wood for the center strip because my truss rod's going to be housed inside this piece. I'm going to turn this into a 9-piece. I'm going to cut myself 2 5mm strips off of this board. We're going to flank that center maple piece with these 2 thin pieces right here. You know, you start getting too many laminate pieces, it has a tendency to get a little busy. And I don't really want to build a busy looking neck. I want it to be elegant and classy. Tight. All right, I've got myself 2 strips drawn right there. We've got our 15 to 9mm taper right here. And I've got my line drawn down the middle of this board right here. And then we're going to lop both ends off as well. We're going to glue up the neck first. Before we can do this, I need to cut this veneer down. So let's get that done real quick. Let's lay out some wax paper. All right, that's looking good. All right, you guys, so that's basically what it took me to get the neck to this point, the glue up. Lots of sending this timber through the drum sander. I showed you guys the footage on the body as well, and we'll get to that later. Right now, it's all about the neck. I've drawn out the center line on this thing. Now we need to decide where we want the actual template for the neck to fall on this blank. So this will be the template that I'm using for the actual neck from the nut this way, because this is a set neck template for a 25.5-inch scale guitar. So what we want to do right now is mark off our nut line. Now I'm going to use a square on this thing, but we'll come at it from both sides, because I know this neck blank is not square because of the tapered center. I tried to compensate for it in the Rosewood, but I didn't trust myself on it. Now, let's take our 22 fret fretboard template and find out where we're going to have to lay out this truss rod here. Okay, let's mark out roughly where our 22nd fret's going to be. All right, so I know my truss rod nut needs to fall within those 2 lines right there. So I know that my truss rod slot needs to end right there. I'm just going to route this truss rod to 9mm deep. I know we're going to need to be a little bit deeper to house that little bulge right there. So let's take a measurement with our caliper. We're at 10.18. So we'll go 10.5mm deep. There we go. 1 truss rod slot. Let's make sure it pops down in there. The thing I don't like about these Geiger truss rods is the nut won't come off. Yeah, that's perfect. So we know where our nut line's going to be, and that's the end all be all of this thing. I'm going to line my nut line up. There that is. So our tuners are punched in already. I can put this to the side, and here's our fretboard. Let's pick a side. I want to use this side. I already know that. This is a 25.5 inch scale Maximum Guitar Works fret slotting template. All right, you guys, we've got our fretboard slotted. 22 slots. We're ready to roll. What a beautiful fretboard this is going to be. I picked up some new stuff for finishing fretboards. I saw Ty from Shock the Fox use this stuff. This is Total Boat penetrating epoxy. It's a 2-to-1 mix, and it's a thinner epoxy. And I want to finish the maple fretboard using this stuff. I really want to try this out. So there we go, you guys. I got my neck marked out. Our truss rod slot is cut in this thing. We can take this over to the bandsaw at this point, go ahead and cut the perimeter shape of our neck within a couple of millimeters. And in the next episode, what we're going to cover, I'll get this fretboard glued onto the neck blank. We'll get it routed flush up to the sides. I am going to bind this fretboard, so I'll show you guys how I do that. We want to get that binding channel cut before I carve the neck. Anyway, I want to show you guys this body blank. We're going to wrap things up. This thing turned out so beautiful, you guys. That black veneer between the East Indian rosewood and the center maple strip is really subtle, but I love that. This poplar's super lightweight. I bet this body blank does not weigh 5 pounds. Once I get this cut out and everything, I'm shooting for this guitar to weigh below 8 pounds. Somewhere around 7.5 would be awesome. I told you guys I was going to start releasing slightly shorter videos. I've lost a little time due to Christmas last weekend. This weekend's New Year's. Today is actually my 30th wedding anniversary, January the 1st. So happy anniversary to my wife. Happy New Year to you guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date as I release the rest of the videos for the Ultimate Telecaster build. Don't forget to be on the lookout for the neck episode in the Les Paul Dilemma series that I'm doing with Gio. That video is going to air over on his channel coming up soon. You guys be on the lookout for that. I can't wait to get rolling on that build. I'll see you guys next weekend. And as always, peace and love.